What is up, YouTube? Welcome back, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time. This is my channel, Pixie Dust and Spirit Alchemy, where we talk about all sorts of things taboo, magical, occult, spiritual, anything that falls under that category. The weirder the better. So most of you that watch my channel and regularly and stuff might realize that all the videos that I share with you guys, I share my experience, right? I'm not just like talking about something that I haven't tried or I haven't done or that's not worked for me. Well, maybe it's worked for me, but if it hasn't worked for me, then I've shared it with you, possibly, like my servitor video. But I share this with you because it's something that I've learned from, whether it's a Gallery of Magic book or just some other sort of magical practice or occult working. And so that I can get the information out there, you know, because when you're in the occult world, a lot of this stuff is hidden and remains hidden. And it doesn't have to be. I mean, I think it sort of hides itself in general, you know, because it is taboo and it is sort of just woo-woo to a lot of people, you know, kind of weird. And so I feel like that energy of even just the word occult in general, you know, sort of remains hidden on its own. So, that being said, the reason I'm bringing that up is because today's video, I just wanted to talk briefly about the importance of protection magic. The importance of protecting your own energy, of protecting yourself energetically. So first of all, when it comes to protecting your own energy, as magicians or as people that are into spirituality or are empathic, right? If you're sensitive to energy, whether other people's energy or just the energy of the world or whatever, your energy is vulnerable, or we are vulnerable, right? Because we are unprotected on our own. We have to implement the protection that we seek, right? The protection that we want to achieve, depending on what the source is. So I feel, as a general rule, if you are a practicing magician, it is a good idea to at least do a protection ritual for yourself once every day. It was recently suggested to me by a good friend of mine. I do a protection ritual every morning and every night. Just so that way, you know, you double up on the protection, basically, right? Because a lot of the times when we go out into the world, or I know when I go out into the world and being super sensitive to energy, even just going into the grocery store, right, I can pick up on so many different energies, and oftentimes it'll become exhausting to do mundane tasks like that because my energy is not protected. And so therefore, I'm absorbing other people's energies around me, or the energy of the collective as a whole. And if you guys are living in 2022 like I am, whatever country you're in, if you're aware of what's going on in the world, then you might be aware of the fact that the world leaders, I guess, or at least in America, like the government, I feel, loves to instill fear into people. Like they love that. They love it. You know, like war, boom, coronavirus, boom, lockdowns, boom. All this stuff, stay inside, be afraid because you're gonna die. You know, like, that's what I mean by energy of the collective. I mean, what would you guys consider the energy of the collective in this, like, current time? Good or bad? In the middle? I mean, it's always fluctuating, you know, so it just depends. But either way, we can absorb that energy still, that energy of the collective, because we are in the collective. We are part of the collective, part of the all. Oh, Bella was like, Bella, hey, get down. Now, in order to protect our own energy, right, we can use stuff like sage. We could use Palo Santo wood. Get all the stuff. We could use selenite. I didn't even intend to have this stuff next to me. It's all just here because I've lately been protecting my energy more. Because I have found that I was absorbing external energies that weren't mine. Whether it's emotional energy or a spiritual energy. And as a spiritual person, it is important to protect your own energy, especially when you're in the healing arts or in the magical arts. Because, guys, I don't know about y'all, but when I got into magic, it was like as soon as I opened that door, like my whole world became magical. Like, my problems started becoming magical issues. Not all of them, you know, like a flat tire is still sometimes just a flat tire. Bella really wanted to come up here, so here she is. Alright, for now. If you guys are interested in the Gallery of Magic books, there's Magickal Protection. I'm sure there's others. There's also, it's not Gallery of Magic, I believe, but Angelic Protection Magic by Ben Woodcroft is a great book to use. Some of those who know about the LBRP, the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, that is also a very good protection ritual to do, just to protect your energy. Hi, baby. She's been lonely today, I guess. There's also entities we can call on when we suspect perhaps magical attacks. You know, psychic attacks, hexed items. Now, what do we do if we have a hexed item? Buy something, you buy a magical item, for instance, and then maybe your relationship with the person you bought it from goes south, and now that person has access to you energetically because you bought, or I bought, that item from this person. And let's say that this person isn't a good witch. And she decides to, or they decide to hex or curse some items, these items that you bought, knowing that you still intend to use these items. How do you do that? How do you get rid of that? So one way is using the protection books. Magickal Protection has some good rituals. I'm not going to give this precise ritual just to, support the Gallery of Magic and buying their books and everything. But also another way to protect this energy is through praying the Psalms. Psalm 37 or Psalm 91. I believe Psalm 94 might even be a good one. To cleanse any dark, evil energies from yourself, your space, or your objects. Or you can just get a cat and she'll ward off all evil. Just kidding. Sometimes she's lazy, so we gotta take extra measures. And so how do you know if there's an energetic attack on you? Well, it depends. I mean, if you're having like a continuous cycle of just bad luck circumstances, and you feel cursed, that's possible. If you know that you pissed somebody else off who's a witch, like, there are ways to know. But the normal person just going about their everyday life, especially if you're not a practicing magician, I would say is most likely not going to have to worry about being cursed or hexed. In addition, the earth is so healing and so grounding. Even just for basic protection, grounding ourselves in the earth, feeling the planet underneath us, underneath our feet. I find that really just brings me back down to reality. Another way of protection would be a servitor, to protect you from a certain circumstance or a certain thing. And the Gallery of Magic does a good job in their books of giving specific rituals for protection. Like whether you're cleansing a space, or whether you are cleansing or protecting a family, a loved one from an accident or something, or protecting your own energy. It's got a bunch of different stuff, and the magic behind that book is very credible, and I won't get into that right now. I do want to do a podcast on that later, though, on Magickal Protection, so stay tuned after we complete the Wealth Magic podcast. That'll be another one going up. But I just wanted to get this message out there and make this, like I said, a short video to stress the importance of just protecting your energy, even if you're not a magician. Even if you're not a magician, but maybe you do yoga, or you're just an empath. You can be an empath and not be a magician or not be spiritual or not need to do magic in order to protect yourself. But I would say, in that sense, it's still important to protect your energy. Just like you would protect your house or protect your child, if you have a child, or protect your dog or cat. Or, protecting yourself physically. It's just as important to protect ourselves spiritually, emotionally, and mentally as it is to protect ourselves physically. But people don't always think about protection in a spiritual sense. But that could be something just as simple as visualizing an energetic shield around you. Something as simple as that, or just a basic meditation, centering us back into the center, into our full authentic selves. It's important to ground ourselves. Just because the collective is basically injected with these thoughts of fear and be afraid of the pandemic and be afraid of war and be afraid of your neighbor because he's another color than you or something. Like, they feed us that. And people believe it, right? Like fake news travels 10 times faster than real news because it gets an emotional reaction from people. People react emotionally because they feel threatened. That fight or flight mode kicks in. And they don't necessarily go looking for answers, right? They just accept this fake news and share it with all their friends because they react emotionally. And just because there are crazy things going on in the world right now doesn't mean that we need to become a part of that collective thought. As human beings, we are capable of having our own individual free thoughts, of thinking for ourselves. God gave us brains to use, or our Creator gave us brains to use, to think with, to believe with. For those that watch my channel, I assume that most people are spiritual and or magical to an extent. And I would hope that with that comes a learned awareness of how important it is to protect our energy, especially when you do magic every day. It's almost like sending a package with no insurance, or whatever they do to make sure if that shipment gets lost in transit, they can find it, you get a receipt for it, It's almost like that. If you just do magic and send it off into the world, there's no protection around it or around yourself. And that's, anything could come in and just boop it out of the sky, basically, or knock it out of the sky, if for lack of a better term. So we want to think about that. Because if we are doing magic with an intent, then I would assume that we want it to work, right? Work for us. When there's a time and place, this is how we can take action. There are resources. There are multiple resources. There's even stuff I didn't get into, like hoodoo, cut and clear spells, or other branches of magic that I don't know about, have their own traditional means of protection as well. There's all sorts of ways. So all I'm doing right now is stressing the importance of that. Because any good magician, real magician, is gonna be protected. Right? If you're a high mage, it's gonna be hard to fuck with you. But if you're a novice mage, I'm thinking in terms of Skyrim right now, then you're very susceptible to other spells and attacks, energetically. Food for thought. Just protect your energy in general. When we do that, it creates a ripple effect. And by choosing to protect our energy, it ripples into the world, and we walk into the world then protected, more protected, by calling on angels or by calling on whatever deities or entities we believe in to protect us. So that being said, guys, stay protected, stay safe. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to message in the comments below. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you have already liked and subscribed, thank you. I appreciate that. If not, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. It does help the algorithms. We don't just say that. But do what you want, making sure that everyone out there is staying safe. Magically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all the above. Protect your energy, guys. Always a good idea. So, until next time, guys. Peace.